You know, have you ever had that feeling? You're in a meeting, a class, whatever, and you've got a question, but you just hold it back, worried you'll sound silly? Well, turns out there's an ancient text with a really profound solution for that very modern fear. So today, we're going to dive into a powerful principle of mentorship from one of the world's most timeless texts. And yeah, it all kicks off with that feeling I think every single one of us knows so well.
Yeah, that's right. It's the fear of asking. It's that split second of hesitation, right? That little voice pops into your head and it's whispering, "Nope, don't say it. Everyone else already gets it. You'll look dumb." It's a feeling that can literally stop you dead in your tracks. I mean, really, think about it for a second. Have you ever been there? A classroom, a big team meeting, maybe even just a casual conversation, and a question just pops into your mind, but you swallow it down. Why? Because you're worried you might expose some gap in your knowledge, or worse, that you're the only one in the room who doesn't get it. And the consequences of this are, well, they're massive. In today's terms, we'd call this a total lack of psychological safety. That fear of looking foolish, it absolutely stifles our natural curiosity. It just slams the door shut on learning. And not just for us, it shuts it down for everyone else who probably had the same question but was too afraid to ask. It's a universal problem for sure. But, thankfully, there's a timeless solution. So, where do we find this solution? We find it in the Bhagavad Gita, an ancient Sanskrit text. It's this incredible piece of wisdom that addresses this exact human dilemma. And what's crazy is, it's just as relevant today, right now, as it was thousands of years ago. All right, so this verse right here, it lays out a really powerful formula for how we learn. And a key part of that is the phrase, inquiring submissively. Now hold on, because that word can throw people off. This doesn't mean being weak or just blindly following. Not at all. It's all about approaching with humility, with a genuine open mind, ready to actually receive knowledge. But here's the part that's really profound. The original Sanskrit phrase, tadviditi pranipatena, it flips the script on us. It actually places the initial responsibility not on the student, but on the teacher. You see, the principle implies that a mentor has to first create an environment where a student feels safe enough to be humble, to ask without fear. It's about building that foundation of safety before any real learning can even start. So, it all comes down to this. How does the mentor respond? Because with every single question, no matter how simple it might seem, a leader is standing at a fork in the road. They've got a choice. They can either build a bridge to more learning, or they can build a wall. And you can see these two paths so clearly, right? I mean, imagine a student asks something and a couple people in the room kind of chuckle. If the leader just lets that happen, or worse, dismisses the question as silly, boom, they've just snuffed out the spark of curiosity, not just for that one person, but for the entire group. But, on the other hand, if that leader validates the question, answers with patience, just like Krishna does for Arjuna all throughout the Gita, they don't just empower one person, they create a space where everyone feels safe enough to actually learn. Okay, so this is all great, but how do we actually apply this ancient principle today? Well, it really boils down to a super practical framework. Let's call it 3 simple rules for building trust. And this works whether you're a leader, a parent, a teacher, a mentor, you name it. Okay, so first up, validate the curiosity. It can be as simple as saying, "That's a great question." That little phrase acknowledges the courage it took for them to even ask. Second, never, ever shut down an inquiry. Treat every single question, no matter how basic it seems, as a doorway to deeper understanding. And third, and listen, this one is so important, you've got to be willing to admit when you don't know the answer. Now, I know this might be the most counterintuitive part for a lot of us. We're taught to think that leaders need to have all the answers, right? But saying the words, "You know what? I don't know, but I'll find out," isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign of incredible strength and humility. It shows you're committed to the truth more than your own ego. And that is what builds an incredible, absolutely unbreakable bond of trust. See, because at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't just about downloading information or spitting out correct answers. The real goal of mentorship, what this principle is really pointing to, is something so much deeper. When you create this kind of space for questions, what are you really doing? You're building unbreakable trust. You are literally architecting a truly safe space where people feel they can be vulnerable and actually grow. This is what fosters that genuine, uninhibited curiosity. And that curiosity is the engine for all lifelong learning. It's not just about giving someone an answer. It's about making them fall in love with the process of finding answers for themselves.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. In our own lives, as we try to guide others, whether we're a parent, a boss, a mentor, or just a friend, what's really more important? Is it having the right answer for everything? Or is it creating that safe harbor, that space where any question, no matter how silly, can finally be asked?